Hi, my name is Silver Dave, and I mainly like to stack silver. However, recently, I've been picking up quite a few gold pieces. Well, let's see what I think about the Gold Sovereign. I've been buying a bit of gold recently, and yes, I am mainly a silver stacker. Most of my stack is still silver, but I have been buying gold, and mainly I've been buying gold a little bit at a time to add to my silver stack because I think that it's good to diversify your precious metal stack, even though I think silver is the most accessible option for most stackers. What I didn't like about gold when I first started stacking was that I only knew about gold eagles, gold philharmonics, 1 ounce gold buffaloes, 1 ounce gold coins, and I was thinking maybe I can add a little bit of gold to my stack. And I really had a lot of trouble because most quarter-ounce gold is sold at a really high premium. What can you do about that? So I looked around, and the first thing I came up with was these 90% Swiss gold coins, which I did quite a few videos before, and they are coins with very low premiums. I think these coins are roughly $1 per gram over over spot. So essentially, you're paying $1 to $2. So essentially, for 1 ounce of gold, you're paying up to $60, $70, somewhere around there above spot. But then I discovered something else, right? One of the first coins when I was looking at this I saw was the Gold Sovereign, and I was mainly looking at modern sovereigns, and they were charging quite a bit above spot. They were not much cheaper than fractional gold, especially the modern Elizabeth sovereigns. However, when I started shopping around a bit and when I started digging a bit deeper, I found that actually older sovereigns, which contain the exact same content of gold, tend to go on discount quite often. So recently, one of the local stores had a discounted sale of gold sovereigns that are from the early 19th century. I think this is from 1909. And they were being sold at, I think, $1 or $2 above spot per gram. And that's around $60, $70 above spot per ounce. Obviously, that's a very good deal. Now, I picked these up and I was thinking, wow, they're old, and can I sell them? And I looked online and I found that quite a few banks also buy old sovereigns. For them, actually new or old sovereigns, it doesn't matter. The gold content is the same. So what's so special about this coin? Well, if you do a bit of digging in history and you look up what was the gold sovereign used for, the gold sovereign is essentially one of the most important bullion coins in the early 19th century, at least the end of the 18th century until the early 19th century. This was the coin used in international trade, right? If you were going to trade between countries, the gold sovereign was universally accepted. It was made by the United Kingdom and minted in the Commonwealth. So you could have gold sovereigns minted in Canada, you could have gold sovereigns minted in Australia, and gold sovereigns minted in, I believe also some gold sovereigns minted in South Africa. The coin is 22 carats, so it's very similar to the gold eagle, and it has 7.322 grams of gold content, at least. The coin should at least be 7.98 grams. Most coins you'll find are actually around 8 grams or 7.98 grams, as you can see here. It is a very interesting coin. The only downside to this coin is that it tends to not be of an even weight. If you think about it, 7.33 doesn't add up to 1 ounce very easily. So in terms of modern, how we like to count our stack and calculate our stack, it's not an easy thing to stack gold sovereigns and on the spot know how much gold you have. Because I think it is, you will need, what is it, 73, 7.3. If you have 5 gold sovereigns, that's a bit more than 1 ounce. If you have 4 gold sovereigns, it's a bit less than 1 ounce. I think it's 1/23rd. What is it? No. Anyways, the math is a bit complicated with gold sovereigns. I can't get it off the top of my head. I should have taken a sheet and wrote it in my notes. But the calculation is a bit complicated. But there's a funny thing about it is that if you take a gold sovereign, if you take 2 gold sovereigns and you take 4 LMU gold coins, you have a bit more than 1 ounce. And if you take 1 and you take, 2 and 3, and if you take 1 and 4, you have 30 grams. So if you have 7 LMU coins and 3 gold sovereigns, you have 2 ounces of gold content, pure gold content. That's a very cool thing about it. The second thing I like about it, like I said in the beginning of the video, is that I like the fact that it's very low premiums. Now, even though it is the same gold purity as a gold eagle and of that low gold premium, because of the low weight that it is 7.32 grams of fine gold in the coin, it is under $500, which makes it very, very interesting. Let's say if you are a person who can every single month go pick up a tube of silver bullion, right? This is a good option. Like let's say 1 month you pick up a bottle of silver bullion, but the next month you want to diversify a little bit and you pick up some gold and you don't want to pay too much of a premium. You can buy one of these and still pick up 5 ounces of silver and stay under $600. That's absolutely possible. It's also possible to just pick one of these up and be a bit over $600. Why do I use $600? Because typically a silver bullion coin is somewhere between, is usually a little bit above spot, $2 above spot. If you're buying a tube of 20, you're looking at $540. And I believe most of the stackers I've talked to and I've seen on the forums, they can usually spare every single paycheck, every single monthly paycheck, $600 to stack, right? And this is an amount that fits into your $600. And this is an amount that you're not paying too much of a premium and making a loss when you buy this. What is also good about this coin is that I've noticed that it is relatively liquid. The Sovereign is a known unit to many coin dealers and coin stores. It's also a known unit for many gold buyers. It's a known unit for banks too in Europe that they know about the Sovereign and they actually buy Sovereigns. This is really important for me. The liquidity aspect, I always talk about liquidity. Like I said, one time I was in an accident and I was thinking like maybe one of my family members could sell some of my silvers to so that we have a bit more cash. And I have more collectible silver and I was like, okay, how will they get the best price out of it? Well, they can't, because if you have a sort of numismatic type of silver, or if you have sort of commemorative silver, yes, it might be fine silver, it might be worth its weight in pure silver, but your family member going to sell your coins or your commemorative medals or your commemorative silver art, they won't be able to get the full price out of it, right? That's why from that point onwards, I started buying more bullion and also adding rounds that are very specific, that they are 1 ounce silver rounds, and that you can use it to trade for silver at spot. And therefore, one of the most important things for me, at least after that experience, is liquidity. Liquidity of your stack is extremely important. You never know when you might have to sell your stack. Ideally, you would never sell your stack, but we are made out of flesh and bone and we are mortals. You know, you never know when you might need it and you cannot predict the future. So liquidity is extremely important. And when I mean liquidity, I also mean that the exchange spread between buying and selling the coin is not too high. That means that there's not a huge spread. For example, if you buy a numismatic Star Wars collectible coin and you try to liquidate it on the spot, right? And you go to a coin shop, you're like, okay, I need cash now. Potentially, if you were not in a hurry and they're like, oh, I don't want to give you like cash, you could probably convince them to take it on consignment. I've done this with other goods of value, and I've had goods sell on consignment. It's usually the thing that, especially for collectibles, consignment is how it normally works. And then the dealer, when they sell it, they take a commission out of your consigned item. That's what most likely happens to collectibles, and that's what you could do with collectibles, get the maximum value. But if you need cash immediately and you bring a, let's say a Star Wars bullion coin, I know that the New Zealand Mint makes Star Wars coins. I'm thinking of getting some for Christmas. If I order them, I'll do a review, or I'm gonna order them anyways. When I order them, I'll do a review about the Star Wars coins. I'm really looking at the Darth Vader coin. I'm thinking that's a pretty good coin, especially since they're right now at the same price as Silver Eagles, which is completely ridiculous, but I digress. Let's talk about what we have to talk about. This coin is extremely liquid. The Sovereign is probably, I would say, it's a little bit less liquid than the 1 ounce Gold Eagle. It's a little bit less liquid than a Gold Maple. But if you bring a Sovereign, people will know that it has 7.32 grams of gold. And specifically in Europe, most gold is not sold by the ounce, it's sold by the gram. Bars are typically not 1 ounce gold bars. Bars are typically between 1 gram, 5 gram, 10 gram, 20 gram, 50 gram, 100 gram, and then after 100 gram, you have the half kilo bar, and then you have the kilo bar. Ounces are more in the US, at least from the dealers I've been buying from. They tend to calculate gold by the gram. And I think like when I look at the US, people tend to calculate gold by the ounce. They calculate by the 10th ounce, the quarter ounce, the half ounce, and then the 1 ounce. So if you are, at least for me, if in Europe, this is about as liquid as a Gold Eagle or a Gold Maple, and these coins are traded by banks. I've posted in my previous videos, I'll put a link below where I talk about bank prices and the coins they tend to buy. This is probably one of the more liquid coins. They buy old sovereigns. It's a known unit. It's known to be 7.32 grams. It's easy to check. You can put it on a scale. It's at least a little bit above 7.98 grams. And so it should be around 8 grams roughly. And it's 22 carats. So, and the dimensions are known, so it's easy to test. It's easy to test the density. The thickness is known. This is a well-known coin. Sometimes people are like, yeah, but you can maybe get even less premiums if you buy like a 1 ounce round. And I agree, like maybe a 1 ounce round will pay less, you'll pay less premiums than a coin like a Gold Eagle or a Gold Maple or a Kangaroo or Krugerrand, which is one of the most popular bullion coins. But the thing with rounds is that if you go take rounds and you try to sell them and you don't, let's say you don't have a receipt of where you bought them, sometimes people want to test your rounds and that could be a bit of a pain. But these type of coins, they're very easy. You know, they have a scratch tool and they'll use an acid test. It will be a little bit more painful. They might want to pay you a little bit less, or if they know you, they might be willing to deal with you on spot. But coins typically, no matter where you go, you will get spot out of it, especially if they're a known bullion type coin. That's why I've been stressing that people should be buying bullion type coins. And I mean bullion type coins, I don't just mean like it has to be the modern bullion. Even traditional bullion is a relatively well-known unit, like the 20 Swiss franc or 20 French franc. I have the 20 French franc somewhere here. Yes, this is the 20 French franc. This is a known unit. This coin is a very well-known coin. People know that it has 5.8 grams of gold in it, and it's been in use for hundreds of years as a unit of trade. right, as money for trading. So, do I like the Sovereign? I really like the Sovereign. I'm going to be ordering more Sovereign. Like I said in my prediction, I think that gold will go up probably by next year. Like in my previous analysis, I do believe that the economy is not going to be doing that great. In my previous analysis, I did mention that the economy was not going to do that great. I just didn't mention how bad I think it will be. I don't think it will be horrific that people will be dying like of hunger in the streets, because we obviously as a society, we have so much excess of food that I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think that there's a whole sector of the economy that is going to suffer a lot, and it's not going to be a small part of the economy. I sort of did like the math and to look at structurally between Europe and the United States, which parts of the economy would suffer the most if even due to the pandemic and due to the fact that people aren't going, they aren't traveling. Even if you don't have lockdowns, people are not going on tourism trips. You know, they're not going to visit Mount Rushmore, or they're not going to go to the Grand Canyon right now. Most people are staying home. They're taking activities at home. They're taking sort of breaks by going out for a walk, or they're doing sporting activities at home. Very few people are choosing to go on vacation right now. And so the sectors I think that will be most affected is the hospitality sector, the air travel sector, the restaurant sector. Now you can mention that restaurants, yes, they can still do delivery. Yes, restaurants can do delivery, but your service personnel is not getting paid. So, you know, delivery, yes, delivery is more of an economy of scale. You need much less people to deliver food than you need people in a restaurant to serve food, right? A single guy in a truck can deliver hundreds of packages during a day, but a single server, you need 4 servers for 4 restaurants. You know, the guy who's doing the delivery, he can do delivery for 4, 5, 6, 7 restaurants. He can deliver as much space he's got in his vehicle. So, you know, it has a different scale. It's more scalable delivery systems. As long as people are willing to invest in it, it's very scalable. Now, do I think that the restaurants business will suffer? Yes, I think that if people are not going to restaurants, it will consume less. There's less service personnel, so people spend less. So the restaurant business as overall as a sector, I'm not talking about the individual restaurants, because a lot of individual restaurants, basically servers earn their income by tips. But the restaurant itself is going to be less profitable. And the servers who were working as servers, well, now they can't work as servers, and they can't get tips, and therefore people eating at home and ordering food is a much less labor intensive type of consumption. So they're paying less essentially for the same like goods, but before they're paying for a good, the food, and they're also paying for a service. That means that they're going to a restaurant, people are serving them. There's like an ambience, there's music, and they tend to consume more when they're paying for a good and a service relative to just a good. So what do I think will happen to the air travel, the restaurants, and the hospitality industry? I think you're going to see at least a 50% cut in their business activity. And if you think about it, what does that represent? Well, 50% cut is roughly each one. The hospitality and travel industry is, air travel, hospitality, and restaurant business is 1 trillion, and the air travel industry is around 1 trillion. You're looking at around, I don't know, if a 50% cut, I think air travel is almost dead. They have an 80% cut. So we're looking probably at a 8 to 9%, 7 to 8%, 7 to 9% cut in the overall economic activity, just because those two sectors are lagging behind. Now, if you have that, that's going to have a knock-on effect in other parts of the economy, right? Most people who work in those sectors, they're not the top 1% of the economy. They don't own their own property. They're rent payers. So suddenly you have rent-back securities under stress. I'm almost sure that the majority of people who work in those sectors are rent payers, and their homes are most likely owned by rent-back securities, not by potentially the individual landlords, but also some maybe corporate landlords who package their rent into financial instruments and sell it to Wall Street, and that's going to put stress on that financial product. You're like, yeah, but it's just Wall Street. Nobody buys that product. Not true. A lot of those products are bought by pension funds, not necessarily even not just American pension funds, but global pension funds. There are funds in Europe that buy such security packages for their pensions. There are pension funds in Canada, I'm sure, that buy such packages. And they were, prior to the pandemic, very interesting because nobody's going to walk out on the rent. Everybody needs a place to live, and if they don't have a place to live, you can always find another renter. But with the pandemic, it might just be a case where people actually can't pay their rent. And come September 31st, when eviction notices are, you can, before December 31st, there was I believe the CARES Act in the United States where people could not be evicted. And come December 31st, if they don't renew that, then you're going to have evictions. And what's going to happen? Are people going to move back in? I doubt it. I doubt you're going to find people who have the financial capacity to re-rent your apartment, because a lot of people are out of business. It's not just like 5%, 10%. You're looking at a systemic sort of situation where a lot of people are going to out of business. Now, you can say that like you can believe in the pandemic or you can not believe in the pandemic. The fact is, whether you believe it or not, the current situation is that a lot of these sectors are affected. That you cannot deny. And, you know, whatever the cause, we can like agree or disagree on the cause, but we know that these two sectors of the industry are affected because of the current environment, whatever the environment is. And what our government's going to do? Well, one of the most popular things that most people who stack gold and silver are saying, you know, they're going to have more debt, the dollar is going to implode, it's going to devalue, it's going to, and then everything will shoot to the moon. Possibly not. But I do know that with added uncertainty, gold and silver will go up in value. I did go a bit off topic there. But to go back onto the topic, why do I buy the Gold Sovereign? Well, the Gold Sovereign is a fractional unit of gold, 7.3 grams. It's 22%, 22 carats of purity, so 93% pure. It's on the same level of purity as the Krugerrand and also the Gold Eagle, which makes it a very interesting coin. And for the fact that it has almost no premium on it, especially the older ones. I tend to pick them up when I see older ones on sale. The newer sovereigns, the Elizabeth sovereigns, they tend to have a premium. If you do buy a full stack of it, it can get a bit pricey. I believe they are, they're still cheaper than the quarter ounce in terms of premiums, but they are, I believe, $450. Correct me if I'm wrong, the prices might have changed, you know, daily. How gold is like changing every single day. This is not, it's not very usual for gold to move so much. But I have to say that currently they are around $450, I think. Last time I checked, they were around 440 Swiss francs. And I do know that I bought these at 415 Swiss francs. So that's when the gold was a little bit down. I was like, yep, it's time to pick up a little bit. But potentially there might be a big crash, so don't go all in. I still think that there is a possible crash coming. So I'm still buying gold. I'm buying a little bit and a little bit at a time. If there is a large financial crash, it will not be bad for gold. The prices might adjust, but typically what happens during financial uncertainty, gold and silver, they gain value relative to the dollar, and relative to any type of fiat currency because, well, you know, like Warren Buffett says, this stuff, it doesn't do anything and it doesn't have any use. I disagree. This stuff, precious metal, has a use. It is recognized as money and it cannot default. It cannot be devalued through simple policy decisions. And that makes it almost perfect as a unit of protection. And that is where its utility lies. I buy sovereigns because, you know, like I said, fractional unit, low premium, not too expensive, lets me cost average. Very important thing I didn't mention is that every single time I pick it up, I can cost average my gold purchase and then I can slowly add to my stack. So I'm not caught out by paying, for example, one day right now, especially now when gold is moving and it's relatively volatile. Before, I would say if you were buying in the early, if you're buying 2015, 2014, gold was relatively stable. It was a little bit cheaper and it would be very, very stable. You could buy 1 ounce, 2 ounces. You wouldn't worry too much. But now gold is moving up and down every single day. I do some, like I have some viewers that say you're dumb, you should have gone all in when it was a bit cheaper. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know if it's gonna go up or down. I think it's likely to go up. I think it's likely to go up. I think there's a risk of a crash. But overall, I'm confident that in the mid to long term, at least in the next 10 years, it's going to be moving upwards. It's going to be trending upwards. But trending upwards doesn't mean that I can time the market. I don't know what gold will be tomorrow. I don't know what gold will be in 3 days. I just know that macroeconomically, there's a lot of upward pressure for precious metals. So, do I recommend this coin? Yeah, I definitely recommend this coin. This is a very, very good coin to buy. This is, especially if it's on sale, especially if you can get the older ones. They are somewhat semi-numismatic because, well, they're not making the older sovereigns anymore. They're not making sovereigns that are printed with the old kings and queens of England. I believe Victorian sovereigns are worth quite a bit numismatically. But the ones I like to buy are the Edward sovereigns because they're only minted for less than 10 years. So there's not so many of them. Queen Elizabeth, the modern sovereign, she's been queen for ages. She's really old. But when she does pass, then you will have a new sovereign. You'll have a new sovereign coin. It'll be a different face. And the Australian bullion will have a different face too. The Canadian bullion will have a different face too. Oh yeah, Australia might remove the queen completely and become a republic if they do pass the referendum, which they were supposed to pass, I think, this year or next year. But possibly because of the current situation, that is put on hold. I have another sovereign coming up. I might do a full video once I have that gold piece come up. Do a full video of the status of my gold stack, because right now I do have quite a lot of gold. I don't have like 100 ounces of gold, like the same amount as silver, but I have quite a lot of individual coins I've been buying week from week. And I buy around 2 coins every single week, 3 coins every single week. So I'm not buying 1 ounce of gold a month. I'm buying less. You're more like half an ounce, a little bit less, a little bit more sometimes. Sometimes I pick up more silver. I think by the end of the year, I'll pick up more collectible silver because the prices of bullion pieces are rising like crazy, and the premiums on them are so high that they're right now up there with the numismatic collectible Star Wars pieces. I might get a Star Wars silver coin, but that one has a huge premium. I think it's currently 150 Swiss francs, $170 for 1 ounce of silver. It's a little bit ridiculous. I think if it was like a 5 ounce silver coin, I could understand, but 1 ounce Death Star being so expensive, it doesn't make sense. But I might pick up some Darth Vader. I saw some Boba Fett coins. They're quite pricey too. I might get a Kraken too, a 2 ounce Kraken, but they're not cheap either. They're like, I think $35 a piece here. So that's almost $40. Like I said, Silver Eagles in Europe right now, I've looked at different places. I can't find anything under $35, $38 a piece. And that's really expensive when you consider that silver is currently $25 spot. That's a huge premium. Anyways, if you like the video, click the like button. If you like the content, click the like button. If you have a comment, want to talk, write in the comments because I'm always up for a chat. And if you, and also remember to subscribe. I post daily videos. There's always something new coming up. I'll always talk about different subjects, whether it's gold, silver, or sometimes I even talk about platinum. I might pick up another platinum coin before the end of the year. Let's see. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I want to get, but of course, I don't have infinite funds, so I'm gonna maybe buy like a bit more gold, I think, before the end of the year, and I'll buy maybe 1 more platinum coin, and then whatever else I have left, I'll buy more silver. I do know that some of my viewers are telling me, oh, you should just get like 400-to-1 ratio of silver to gold, or 400-to-1 ratio to silver to platinum, or just don't buy platinum at all and just buy all silver. I would agree if I could buy silver without any premiums, but here I do have to pay tax. I have to pay 7% tax, and it's not so often I find silver on sale. I do buy silver on the dips. I mean, my whole bottle of Austrian Philharmonics was bought at, I think, 20, on average 28 Swiss francs a piece. So that's almost $30 a piece. But I still bought the whole bottle because, you know, I like the coins. I like stacking them. But I do also realize that it is much more expensive than gold, relative when you take the premium into consideration. And if you take into consideration that it behaves similar to gold and you're paying a much higher premium, I did the math, you do lose quite a bit in terms of returns when you stack silver, right? But gold, I mean, silver has potential, but so does gold, so does platinum. And if you pay, you have to think, how much potential does it have? If you think that over the next 30 years it's going to perform like 10% better than gold, but I have to pay 7% tax on it, yeah, it's not such great potential. That's the thing. It means that I took a huge risk and I gained 3% potential. It's not a great trade. But gold is it's a known unit. Do I think that silver potentially can be at the same level as gold, where silver is considered as a monetary currency or a tier 1 asset by most banks and most financial institutions? Yeah, it's possible, but it's not there yet. It's just right now, it's not there yet. Gold is there. Platinum might go there, but I'm not sure. I think industrially, platinum has more potential because platinum is completely undervalued right now. If you compare it to the other metals, it is it is so cheap, but there's not so much of it. And anytime platinum does get put into industrial use, its price shoots beyond gold. So it just needs to have one single moment within the next 30 years where some technology uses platinum, and then it will shoot through the roof. It'll break because there's not much platinum or palladium hanging around. Right now, palladium is in use. It's quite expensive. I think palladium is a little bit too overpriced. But platinum group of metals, yeah, that's possible. It's not really, I think, a monetary metal, but it is a rare commodity. So remember to like, subscribe, and comment. I reply to everything. Thank you for watching. Dave out.